Here we go. Stage 18. It's getting real here. Tour de France, Tour de Beer. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is Uncle Frank, Tour de France, Tour de Beer, Team Beer Guts. If you haven't heard, if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining aboard. And please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. We are doing a video in a day, every single day of the Tour de France of a beer review. And then after this, let's call it, I don't know, maybe it'll be weekly about bike rides and the beer that we have that day. It is beer knowledge, beer education, and bike rides that we're doing, as well as, of course, these 3 weeks, the Tour de France. So let's start off with the beer. I've already poured it because I've been watching the highlights. I got home after some events that I need to be able to take care of after work. So watching the highlights and getting into this beer from Vasen. And again, I believe it's Vasen. I don't know if it's Vasen or Vasen. I mean, if you look at the logo, is that a V? Is that a W? I'm not really sure. And I've had beers from them before. I have not had this beer from them before. They out of Richmond, Virginia. And what I like to try to do is not only just have a different beer every day, but a beer that I have not had before during the Tour de France these 3 weeks. So this is called Third Drop Pilsner, a Czech style pale lager at 4.6%. Technically, a Pilsner is a pale lager. However, I would tend to differentiate between pale lager and Pilsner, and we'll dive into that in a little bit. Today's bike ride and today's Tour de France stage. Let's talk a little bit about that as well. So, but first, we must sip the beer. And yes, I jumped into this because I was watching highlights. I got home a little bit later, so I had to watch the highlights to see what was going on. I did see what was going on during the bike race while I was at work. But to find out exactly what happened and how some of those breakaways happened, I like to look at the videos before I do a review if I get the opportunity. Today, I got a little bit of that. The beer itself, and I know I'm jumping around, but hey, that's what happens when you're like, bikes, beers, sports, whatever. That's like, yeah, it works that way. Anyway, as you can see, I would probably throw this, if you look into color wise, more of Czech Pale Lager than Pilsner. For me, Pilsner is a little bit lighter in color, lighter in body, a little bit more crisp, a little more dry. And the two Pilsners, I mean, there's American Pilsner, there's whatever. The two classic Pilsners, Czech Pilsner, Bohemian Pilsner, Czech or German Pilsner, and Bohemian Pilsner. Bohemian Pilsner has a little bit more body. This has some more body to it, but the color is more of that C3PO golden than it is a pure, like, pale. The alcohol is about right, but I'm also getting a little bit more body. So I would throw this more towards Czech Pale Lager than I would for a Pilsner, because Czech Pilsner to me is German Pilsner. German Pilsner is dry and snappy and a lot of noble hops. And although the hop aroma on this is nice, I'm not quite getting German noble hops. Not throwing shade, just being honest of what I'm thinking about this particular beer. For a 4.6% alcohol beer, it's pretty nice. It's very flavorful. And that's what you want out of a really good Pilsner or Czech Pale or German Pale or a Pale Lager, in that you want flavor. You don't want it to be like, oh, it's a light lager, so it's probably just going to taste like water. We don't want that. We want something that still tastes really good, but has some flavors to it, some color, some interesting malt notes to it. And I believe this has that. So even though I said it's not quite, in my opinion, the style that they predicted, it is a very, very good Czech Pale Lager slash, and it's got some Pilsner notes too. It's probably made with a bunch of Pilsner malt. And that's also what confuses me, that they called it Czech Pale Lager, but they also call it a Pilsner. I would not have done the same if it was me. But yeah, whatever. I'm not a brewer anymore. I was for 25 years, but I'm not, so maybe I'm wrong. Sue me. I don't know, whatever. I don't brew beer anymore. Now I sell bicycles. So, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking about this beer. Let's talk bikes. So today it is Thursday. Normally it would have been a ride after the Wednesday night bike ride, kind of a shakeout ride, make the legs feel pretty good. Did not sleep very well. So get up in the morning or get up in the afternoon or get up in the afternoon. Go ride in the afternoon. Yeah, if I get up in the afternoon, you know what kind of night I had the night before. But I was at work, so that's not the case. Was not riding Thursday morning, just sore, tight, IT band issues. So this makes me think of, and if this was a sponsored thing, be like, let's talk about my sponsor, blah, blah, blah. And we talk about somebody like Dynamic Cyclist or itband.com or whatever. I don't have any of that. I will tell you, stretch. Maybe you do yoga, maybe you do massage. And I'm always trying to figure out what is the right ratio of those things to do. I do know I need to make sure my IT bands are stretched and loose. I want to do more yoga, but a lot of times yoga is very hokey and I just can't wrap my head around it. It's just me. I know it's me. It's a me problem, but you should stretch. So hot showers, stretch, get IT bands, get your glutes, get all those stuff like loose, and just wasn't feeling it. So I'm like, oh, I'll ride later this afternoon. And then I was at work later, inventory, things like that. Life takes over, and so you just don't. So that's today's ride. No ride. Now let's talk about today's stage. Interesting to me, first thing is Adam Yates. Adam Yates was struggling. He didn't look great during the time trial. He struggled yesterday, and we are like, is he going to abandon? But he managed to get through. It's like, all right, is he just going to finish and then try to get into, today's stage or at least finish the end? He got into the stage. He started today on 18. And as far as I know, he did not abandon. Excuse me. Um, I always say check the comments for the link to Phil Guyman, worst retirement ever. He gives really, really good recaps. And of course, the guys on NBC Sports and Peacock, they do as well. But Phil Guyman is entertaining. He's kind of funny. You should check him out. Anyway, Adam Yates did do the stage. Who did not is Brandon McNulty, one of the U.S. hopefuls. We like seeing there's like 5 U.S. riders. I think it's 5. Yeah, it's 5 U.S. riders. I mean, who are like notable, who are getting in there. And Brandon McNulty, local guy, really wanted to see him do well. He ends up not in today's stage. So hopefully he's feeling okay. But if there's some sickness running through UAE and running through Tour de France, this is going to become very, very interesting for the last couple of days because you know that Tade wants to do Tade things, but Tade pushes his team. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's get up front. Let's win. Let's be in the front. Is that going to be the case now? Does he have the guys? Does he have the squad? And I'm not saying that Tade wouldn't win without his guys because Tade is one of the best in the world. But when you're the best in the world, you also make sure that your team is very, very good. Best in the world, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan probably would have won anyway, but guess what he did? He pushed his guys. He made sure that Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and all those other guys were ready to go. Could anybody control Dennis Rodman? No, but Michael Jordan could. That's right. And that's why Michael Jordan is the GOAT. That's right. I said it, and I'm making a weird cross reference, and you're like, wait, I thought we were talking about cycling. Now we're talking about basketball. I'm talking about GOATs. Michael Jordan's the GOAT, and anybody thinks that that guy who thinks he's the GOAT is the GOAT. He's not the GOAT, is Michael Jordan. Anyway, let's go back to cycling. Yes. So, anyway. So, Tade without, if Adam Yates is weakened and he doesn't have Brandon McNulty, how are they going to work their way up? Because you know he wants to win on Alpe d'Huez. And they're going to do Alpe d'Huez twice on the next to the last day or the last day. That's craziness as well. So what's he going to do? And they were a bit behind. I think it was 7 minutes at one point. It got up to 4. 4.5 minutes behind the winner. So Tade doing Tade things, but let's look and see what happens with the team dynamic. Again, Visma, I don't know what they're gonna do. And Mads Pedersen, put in a dynamic effort to make sure he got the intermediate sprint points. And we talked about this yesterday about him making sure he gets the points in the middle because he doesn't want Jasper to be able to get anything towards the end, which is weighted more towards the end. He made sure he got him in the middle. And I honestly, I think that's how it should be. The green jersey is not just sprint points. It's focused on sprint, but the green jersey was the most consistent. And that's when Peter Sagan was winning it, because sometimes he's getting the mountains. You're like, what is Sagan doing here? He'd beat you on a sprint, but he could also do some climbing on certain days. Mads is doing that right now. And in the spirit of what the green jersey is supposed to be, I think he should win it, and he is winning it. We'll see how that works out. If it's just for the sprinters, maybe there should be a different jersey, and maybe it's a different classification. I don't really know. I don't want to take anything away from Sagan, who's won it in the past a bunch, or the Maxile Missile. You know, when he's won his with Mark Cavendish, he's won so many sprint stages. At the end, that's winning stages. Maybe there's winning stages and then it's green jersey. I don't really, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't have enough tribal knowledge on that, so to speak, as to be able to give a really, really definitive opinion about that. I will say that I think Mads is being the most consistent, and that's what it's supposed to be. Mads should get that. If he stays there and he gets nipped at the bud with the final sprint, and Jasper gets him by points, and Jasper gets the green, well, he's won 2 stages and was far behind on all the others. Mads has won 1 stage, but he was right here, 2 through 5 on all the other stages. So what is that jersey supposed to be? Do we just want to give it to another guy who's already winning another jersey? Do I just want to give it to another guy who already won a stage and got the awards for that? I don't know. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody has their thoughts. I don't have it exactly because I'm still thinking about it. So definitely Czech Pale Lager. The more I think about it, it's got more body, a little bit more caramelly malt to it as it warms up, a little bit of sweetness. Pilsner would get drier and a little more in there. It doesn't have the Pilsner to it. Noble hops, even sweetness, very, very nice beer. Not throwing shade. I just would not call this a Pilsner. I would call this Czech Pale Lager, which they called it both. Anyway, yeah. Tade. Tade's going to win. We know Tade's going to win. How much is Tade going to win by? What's going to happen on Alpe d'Huez? And I haven't even mentioned it, and you're like, why has he not talked about it yet? I've been holding it off from my man, Richo Carapaz. If I, if I was a soccer announcer, that's how I'd have to be able to get it out there, because we just had the World Cup. Richie Carapaz, I've been cheering for this guy for a while. I love watching him ride. I like seeing him take a flyer. EF, love the EF squad, love what they do. Richie Carapaz with the stage win. Yes. Very happy for Richie. And you've seen him the past couple of stages try to get out there, try to get the W, and just maybe not enough there. Timed it right. EF, good job of what you did with the team. Good job getting Richie out there. And he gets a stage win, which is great. I believe this is his second Tour de France stage win. And if I'm not mistaken, Richie Carapaz has a stage win in all 3. La Vuelta, La Tour de France, excuse me, and the Giro. So great to see Richie get a W. You could see he was happy. EF was very happy, and yeah, I'm stoked for the guy. I feel like he's a class act in how he rides, in how he treats other people, in how he treats other riders and on the team. So, congratulations, Richard Carabas. Super stoked about that. I don't know if I can point the camera to there. I don't know if I should because the jersey's all. You can kind of see it back there. Yeah, there we go. So I have an EF jersey. It's not signed by Richard Carapaz. It's falling down in its frame. I need to get it reframed, and I'll bring that back up there. But yeah, I've been an EF fan for a while, so it's happy to see EF and Carapaz get a W. So maybe we call that Schmidt because Von Schmidt was almost in there, and Jorgensen, what a ride by him! Jeez, man. Like, so honorable mention to him. So uh, again, for the overall stage breakdown, I like Phil Guyman's breakdown of stuff. Worst retirement ever. That's what he calls it, and it's entertaining and it's funny. So that is the stage. That is my ride, which was not a ride, which means there needs to be a ride tomorrow. So I should cut this now, and so I can get some water and get some sleep, and then wake up tomorrow and ride my bike and be ready for the weekend. Toward a beer. We've had the beer. We've covered that. There may be one more beer to review tomorrow before we get into the weekend. And fingers crossed, I can fix my television so I can watch the rest of the tour. I'll explain that in another video. Anyway, as always, thanks for showing up. Please tell your friends and check us out. I'm just an amateur guy who likes my beverages, who likes bikes, who likes to talk bikes. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, tell your friends, and we will see you later on. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, ride bikes, drink beer, and do epic shit. I'm Uncle Frank, and I'll talk to you the next time around. Cheers.